So, the topic I wanted to get on today was you can't please everybody, and sort of ridding yourself of the disease to please. So, this has been something that has definitely wrestled with me since I was a younger kid. I grew up in a very what I like to call a very Christian Nickelodeon Disney household. And there was church every week, rehearsals. We weren't necessarily like run to Bible study, but we were heavily involved in the church choir. So was like an infant sitting in rehearsals, listening to all of these beautiful gospel songs since I was a little kid. And, I think a lot of people in the church felt like, I was theirs. Like, I belonged to them just as much as I probably belonged to my mom. And I think in certain ways there is like this community and certain church spaces that can be beautiful, but I think in certain ways it can be rather difficult. And for me, I'm growing up with multiple people who are looking at me and looking to me to sort of grow up and be this light or this perception or this idea that they, had for me. And, whether or not I was that person is, I don't know, like it's still something we're figuring out. But I mean, I cared about these people and I cared about the opinions that, people had on me. Just a little bit more background as I, grew up singing on the choir, being a vocalist, being a soloist and a vocalist in the church, and a person who just pretty much was popular in that particular church from a very, very young age. I sung my first solo at 6 years old. It allowed people to just feel like a part of you was there, belonged to them. So with that, I think especially when it's like you're trying to maintain this sort of like Christian good guy image, you you tend to fall into these traps of only doing what everybody else wants you to do. And then like life really hits, like the teenage years hit, the informative years hit, and you start to want to make decisions for yourself. You start to want to make decisions for you know that you're just inspired by at the moment, and there's nothing wrong with that. And especially being in more of that Christian conservative type atmosphere, if it's like outside of the realm of what that is, then it becomes an issue. And I really, really believe that that's where it all began for me. When we talk about the disease to please and wanting to maintain such a squeaky clean image, and life changed for me when certain things started happening to me in the church, and I started to not really care about what other people thought about me after an incident that I'll probably talk about on a later episode. After an incident really shook me to my core and made me start to see that some of these very people who maintain this so-called upstanding Christian value or opinion or performance in life, I guess I should say, are really not that when you get them alone. And it kind of just took me down a road that kind of showed me that, you know what, if I upset somebody else because I'm not walking in their own space, like, hey, like, that's too bad. Because in these spaces of where it's just like about imaging or pleasing them for these particular reasons, That's not healthy for me to be. It's not healthy for me to not be able to question things. It's not healthy for me to not be able to challenge things, whether if it's in my life or in the environment that I'm around. And I think that that began my journey of saying like, no, I don't care if I'm upsetting you, if it's disturbing me or disturbing my peace or allowing me to, you know, dim my light or diminish myself, I don't want it. And I think that this is something that I want to continue to open up to people as I, have fuller conversations with people on this what I've learned podcast and what I've learned experience is that no, like there's there's no way that we should be at the mercy of everyone else. We should only be at the mercy of ourselves, essentially, and whatever you feel like that higher power is for you, because everybody else is just like you, not perfect. So they don't have the right to sort of like tell you you're wrong if you're not falling in line with what they want. And I had to learn how to say no. I had to learn how to challenge. I had to learn how to question, and people didn't like that. And it took me through this space in life that I'm very happy to be at, because as much as I try to be a nice person, I try to be a decent person, a respectful person, I I have the right to think a different thought if it doesn't match your viewpoint. I'm allowed to have my own viewpoint. I'm allowed to see it my way. And, I want that message to continue to resonate with people in general and in life that, you get to have your own opinions, your own feelings on things, and they don't have to always match with everyone else. You get to make yourself happy. You get to, find your own peace. You At the end of the day, I mean, if you're underage, that's one thing, but it's just like you only answer to yourself, and God. So if you're keeping somebody else from like um being satisfied with what you're doing in life because it's just not in the realm of what they want to do, it's just the way that it is. Like, you can't continue down the road with the disease to please, because that is a really, really dark one, and one where you are constantly diminishing and dimming your own light, and one where you are constantly losing yourself at the cost of just satisfying others so that you fit into an idea or perspective that they came up with you, that they came up for you, I should say. And I don't want that anymore. I'm so glad that a lot of things happened to me in life to really start me on the journey to not be so goody goody or a people pleaser, because sometimes you have to shake things up. You just do. But that doesn't mean that you're a bad person. That doesn't mean that you're a devil or, a demon or something. You're just allowed to think the way that you think. You're allowed to be who you want to be. Like, we have to keep acknowledging that for people, that you're allowed to have your own viewpoint. It's okay. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. I think just with everything else, just be respectful. But you have to give respect to receive respect. So don't disrespect me, and I won't disrespect you. Respect my viewpoints, and I'll allow you to respect mine. I think that's the gift of, I think it should be the gift of being, especially here in America, like that we are just allowed to have different viewpoints, to see it from different angles. So yeah, disease to please. I don't want that anymore. I haven't wanted it for a very long time. And sometimes I think I still fall for it. But I'm working every day to just be more and more of myself so that I don't have to lean in these spaces that don't allow me to be myself. And my suggestion to all of you is, hey, do the same. Don't be a victim of that terrible disease. Be you and be proud of who you are. You are value, you are love. Making purpose popular. And this has been the What I've Learned podcast by Sean Ryan.